All right, welcome to Straight Talk Live on Echo FM 100.7. Everybody, you know, every Tuesday, Law and Property takes our first 30 minutes before we come into the nitty-gritty of the event today. It's Straight Talk Live on Echo FM 100.7. If you check your time now, it's about 43 minutes after 9. So we will just go straight into the newspaper review, and thereafter we'll come back and give you more details. Today, I stumbled across something very, very, very interesting for Nigerians to know, Imolites to know. So we will share that bit of information. It's very surprising. I have an audio we would like to play for you concerning insecurity and, of course, what Bill Gates Foundation is doing in Nigeria with the GMO and that is harvesting of ovarian tubes of our Nigerian women. That has become a very dangerous and trendy thing is going on. That is one of the reasons why insecurity is persisting, because one, they have to reduce the population. Two, they have to plug out by building hospitals and the NGOs. How come we have too many NGOs in Nigeria in a volatile area? That is a big question. So it's been very, very surprising. And one of the medical doctors is now openly speaking. I got a video, and I'm going to play it out for us later on the show, so we can take a listen to this and get to begin to understand a little bit why, when war is happening, there are too many things behind it. We can blame the Nigerian army. We can blame whoever want to blame who and where, who is funding these things. And this is where it comes to light. Bill Gates has been mentioned in almost everything bad in this world. He's a billionaire. They call him a philanthropist. But every time he's using human beings to do rabbit tests. Because GMO products, we heard that the seeds, our original seeds, which we used to grow in Nigeria, you can't even find it no more. They are taking a lot of them because most of them, the insecurity like Boko Haram, they're using wiping out most of the farmers, and most of them, Hausas, Fulanese, and of course Muslims and Christians, all wiped out. And that is why our government says it's both Christian and Muslim are being killed. This is one of the narratives that we do here. Then at the end of the day, why is this persisting? Because they have to find a way to bring genetically mutilated organisms, which are the crops that we eat on, and that's not good for our health. They cause a lot of cancer, they cause a lot of different things, and this is not very good for Nigerian Africans, but it's happening. And according to that doctor, it is not just that it happened here. They have done this before in India and the Middle East, and now it's the turn of Nigeria and the Sahel region. That is why the Burkina Faso president, talking about Ibrahim Traore, has refused any of them to operate in his country. And this is why they keep trying to oust him from that. And now, our government, what are you doing? People are exposing these things. It's time. Now, this doctor is calling, said he was part of the meeting. And they called them and they told them to harvest people's ovarian tubes, and they refused. Nigerians, because of their moral grounds, say they cannot do that. So what they did is to start taking out the doctors. They say doctors should stop being doctors. He was going to pay them for life. Can you imagine that? This is an allegation, quite all right. At least it's still not proven, but it's worth talking about. I want to bring it up for Nigerians to hear and listen to this very, very important conversation later on the show. Of course, there is also why our insecurity is still persisting. It's a connection. Why is America keeping quiet? America sent in troops to Nigeria, and yet nothing is abating. Everything is still going on and on and on. Now, they're looking at the Shaguri angle. They're looking at the connection between Donald Trump's son-in-law and the Nigerian government and high-tech, Shaguri, and the president himself. These are all connected. And of course, it will interest you to know that in 2004, Nigeria, if you remember, Nigeria's total budget for that year was 28 trillion naira. Can you remember that? Out of that 28 trillion naira, one man was paid 20 points. Out of 28 trillion, one man, one company who supplies or does work for Nigeria was paid out of that money 20 point something trillion out of 28 trillion. Left with about 7 point something for the remaining sector. That is why industrialists, I was having a meeting yesterday with a couple of industrialists when we were looking at these Imo State campaigns and all that, where industrialists will act. And I was shocked to hear what they're saying. Every one of them that has done a contract for the federal government is being owed, they have not been paid. And why? Because there's no money, but one man gets over 70% of Nigeria's total budget for 1 year. This is the height of it, and this is where we are bringing it up to live on radio, so you can have a say on all this. So welcome about everybody. Just sit down, relax. I'll give you details of all that later on the show. So we go straight to the newspaper review, and I'll bring you a few headlines because time is no longer our friend. Don, let's start up with the Punch newspaper, please.
Okay, consensus coup. Governors tighten grip on Senate tickets, displace incumbents.
That is on the Punch newspaper. I'm hearing that about 14 governors are preparing to go to the Senate. 14 ex-governors and governors are planning to go to the Senate. Most of the governors are failed governors who didn't do well, and they will now go and make laws that is supposed to benefit Nigeria. How are we ever going to get it right? How are we going to get it right? So when all these governors that are misbehaved, turn their state upside down, go to the Senate and start making laws, that is why we can never have the exempt law. Part of that audio I'm going to play for you later on is where this man is saying they took this same matter to the law to where, are you aware that in Nigeria, your organ in your system can be taken away without your consent? I never knew about that until I had to start listening and started searching. I said, really? This thing got to the National Assembly. It was pointed out when Ekweremadu was still the Deputy Senate President and some Senate, the likes of former Governor of Anambra State, Ngige, was also in the Senate and the rest of them. And they did not remove that from the law. And that's very surprising. Today, I was shocked to listen to that. So I want everybody to take a listen to it anyway later on the show. Let's take another headline here. Umahi signs Tinubu's nomination form, backs continuity ahead of 2027. All right. Nice one. Let's go this one, Don.
Okay, xenophobia. Federal government seeks justice for slain Nigerians.
Yesterday, what did Bianca Ojukwu tell Nigeria? Dan, what did she say again?
Said they're not killing Nigerians.
Said no Nigeria was killed. Today, please.
Thank you.
Wow. The federal government has demanded urgent accountability for South Africa following the death of 2 Nigerians and a wave of anti-foreigner protests, warning that the incident threatens diplomatic relations and the safety of its nationals. Nigerian government, when will you people stop lying to Nigerians? Even Bianca Ojukwu, you've joined them to start playing, giving Nigerians false information. This is very, very disheartening. It's so, so sad. Wike, PDP bloc rejects Makinde's interim National Working Committee primary schedule. PDP na wahala never end. At least ADC now they don't declare. Peter Obi Conquest have left. Erufai is inside prison, and of course remaining David Mark and Co and Atiku. And there's another explainer. I don't know if you've seen that video where one of the chieftains explained everything that happened and what got Nafiu Bala to back out.
Yeah.
He backed out because what he was promised
was not
given. And then they also said that how can you reject giving somebody the position you promised him, who was an Abo original of that party, 70% to the new coalition, 30% to the original members of the ADC. He was the additional member, and then all of a sudden you say he's too young to hold such a position. How can you deny somebody a position based on his age, as if it's a boy? I mean, that's crazy. That's what some of these older politicians do that makes the younger one. So for those of us who are crucifying a few, if not you, what do you go do? Soldiers assault the cable journalist in Lagos, traffic altercation. This is completely mad, but this is what journalists have to deal with every day. Let's move on now to the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, registration. Dixon kicks as Ado vows court action. Faults INEC on NDC.
This Ado guy, every party, everybody wants to use it to make name. His problem is that why would NDC be given a party status when ADA has not been given party status? Why would they do that? That's his problem because of a court injunction. So you're going to now go and challenge a court injunction or a court order. Good luck to you. And then let's see how this one will end. Will the Nigerian court play to the gallery again and decide to carry litigation wahala? Now, NDC has been registered since. Saraki Dixon moved over to NDC, no issues. Peter Obi enters NDC. You have issue with the party. They want to deregister the party. Oh, me tabo. Now we small wahala. All right, let's take another one.
Okay, plotters admit to planning coup against Tinubu in court.
That's interesting. All right.
Xenophobia. Federal government demands probe into killing of Nigerians in South Africa.
And Navy seizes militant boats, engines in Cross Rivers crackdown. Oh boy. 2027, join NDC now of face blame for opposition failure. Galadima warns Atiku. This Galadima has been spitting fire. The guy said, we are going to go to the polling booths with our kerosene and fuel and matches. Now he's telling them to come and join NDC now, or you face the problem. So is it Atiku that is the problem of the opposition, or all of them? Why is it singling out Atiku? Everybody keeps, from this side of the country, keeps blaming Atiku. That is a spoiler. Why is Atiku being labeled as a spoiler? If his personal ambition, if Obi's personal ambition and Atiku's personal ambition cannot be aligned together, why is Atiku being given the heat? That's a question. So you will claim that he's old, he has contested so many times. Does that make him not to have the right to contest? So why is Obi not being blamed? Why is Atiku always being blamed for this particular matter? Well, I'm just asking a question. Don't come after me before you start shouting and that I don't jump ship. I never jump ship. I'm just asking a simple question. Anybody will ask me that question now, after this program, me and him go get problem. All right, let's talk. Okay. So we continue on these headlines this morning. There were signs Obi wouldn't emerge ADC presidential candidate. This is coming from Ume. What are the signs? I was asking a simple question. If Peter Obi cannot play party politics, bring out money like every other person is bringing money, do the politics, and win the party primaries, knowing fully well that there will be rigging. They will rig, they will try to manipulate in the party. If we cannot withstand that one, how can you now withstand the might of APC, with INEC, Nigerian police, army, every governor, one way or the other? How is he now going to win the election if he is not able to stand firm and defeat Atiku and the rest of them in ADC and collect the ticket?
Did I not say it yesterday?
Did I?
Did I not mention something like this yesterday?
And you didn't mention nothing. When did you mention? Which one we bring out this? Did I? What is did I? Did I not do? Did I not do?
Selflessness. Is it not the act of that selflessness that we're talking about?
No, selflessness has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Now, I'm asking a simple, different question. It's not about selflessness. I'm talking about if Peter Obi cannot stay in ADC, fight it out, win that particular rigging that is complaining, the money politics that is not going to be fair, free and fair, and then he wants to contest in a competition everybody knows is never going to be free and fair.
Yeah.
The APC has all the structures in their favor. INEC, they control. The police, they control. The returning officers, they control. They even appoint. So how are you going to now stand and contest election and win it if you cannot stand and win the election in your party, knowing fully well that all these things you are running away from the party, you still meet them in the general election? This is a very simple question. Everybody out there, you can answer for me when we come back after this time out, because we are going on a short break now to take the news updates at 10. Very interesting, right? I don't understand. It's your laugh and it's your smile. I just don't understand. I remember I come online, come sit down. Why is it grinning from ear to ear? Okay, no wahala. Ngwanu, let's take a short break where we're going over to the news update at 10, and thereafter you can add your voice to the conversation, and then we'll bring you that particular audio so you can take a listen for yourself and then make your comments. Today I don't want to talk much. We just have to tell you, listen and react. Bye-bye. For now, let's go to the news update.
The sound of the city. Echo 100.7.
This week to help those in need.
If you know that it's God Almighty that created you and created we Nigerians like you need to do good things for us because the masses are suffering. How can suspend me here? Are we your slaves?
I am going to win this election.
That is the truth.
Stay informed with Echo FM 100.7. Join us for exclusive interviews with experts, breaking updates on local and global events, and in-depth coverage of issues impacting our community. Tune in every weekday at 6:30 a.m., 12 noon, 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. for our major news bulletin in English, Igbo,
people, this not story time on top Echo
and Pidgin language. For more inquiries, you can reach us through our email, echofm@thekingmail.com. You can follow us on our social media handles at Echo FM. Echo FM 100.7 Owerri. We are the Fresh News People.
Catch up with the latest news updates on Echo 100.7 FM Owerri.
Welcome to the news update on Echo FM 100.7, the station with fair and balanced reporting. Here are the latest stories we are keeping tabs on. The meeting between the federal government and the non-academic staff in the nation's public universities ended in a deadlock as a nationwide strike by members Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, continued across the country. The unions insisted that the strike would continue until their demands were met and negotiations on the 2009 agreement were fully concluded. Operatives of the Rivers State Police Command have arrested 13 suspects over assault on a journalist in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The suspect had attacked a correspondent who was in the area for investigation of criminal activities in the area. Following the development, the Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Adepoju, had launched an investigation into the reported assault and other criminal activities in the area. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has directed electricity consumers in states with newly established state electricity regulators to channel complaints on metering, billing, and related service issues to their respective state agencies following the implementation of the Electricity Act of 2023. According to the Commission, the reform is designed to bring regulation closer to consumers and improve responsiveness in handling electricity-related grievances. The Lagos International Trade Fair Complex has been partially shut following a violent clash that left one person dead and 3 others injured in the Balogun Business Association BBA market. Confirming the development, the executive director of the management board, Mrs. Veronica Ndanusa, stated that the BBA section would remain closed until those responsible for the attack are identified. No fewer than 16 persons have been killed following a reprisal attack by bandits on communities in Kankia local government area of Katsina State and in a fresh attack by terrorists in Fan district of Bakin Ladin local government area of Plateau State. The State Commissioner of Police, CP Ali Fage, condemned the attack in strong terms and extended condolences to the families of the victims. And in the world of sports, Jeremy Doku's stoppage time strike salvaged Manchester City a 3-3 draw at Everton. But a second-half collapse handed the Premier League title back to Arsenal. The Gunners now just need to win their final 3 games to end a 22-year wait to become the champions of England. 2 Arsenal victories since City last played in the league had ramped up the pressure on Guardiola's side. In the world of business, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petro1, has hailed the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his administration's bold and strategic and transparent investigation into the debts. That is all for the news update at 10 as edited by Benjamin Joseph. For more information and inquiries, visit our social media platforms. On Facebook is Echo FM, on X is at Echo FM_over. Instagram and YouTube is Echo FM 100.7. You can listen to us anywhere in the world by clicking on www.echofm.net. And that is the news update at 10. Thank you for listening.
It's the sound of the city. Echo 100.7. Every day,
Every hour.
Every minute.
And every second.
Breaking news occur.
From our villages.
In our cities.
New government policies.
The economy.
Politics.
Social news.
Entertainment news.
Security concerns.
We, the people, converge
to analyze.
Separating facts from fiction.
Lies and truth.
We dissect.
We integrate.
We harmonize.
We criticize.
And we bring you all the juicy details.
Live on Echo FM 100.7 Owerri. It is Straight Talk.
Straight Talk.
Straight Talk on Echo FM 100.7 Owerri.
Shall I begin? I am your host. I am your anchorman. I am the presiding bishop of this ministry, and I am awesome. My name is Barry Cosmos, the Radio Marshal, the Buruburu One on radio, the Okenze on radio, your big brother on radio. I am the main event, and I am here.
Live on Echo FM 100.7 Owerri.
Are you ready?
Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is Straight Talk Live on Echo FM 100.7. Okay, today we bring you some expose, and of course, I would like you to take a listen to this particular interview with a medical doctor in Nigeria. And of course, you would want to listen so attentive to what this man is saying, because it's so disheartening and heartbreaking to hear a lot of what he said concerning Bill Gates, the NGOs, the terrorism and everything that has to do with so many of these NGOs in Nigeria. Well, this is all allegation. Nothing has been proven, but definitely he sounded so convincing, and it's getting to the point where he's daring Bill Gates and daring the Nigerian government to arrest Bill Gates because of what he has been doing to countries and Nigeria in particular. He said he was there. Bill Gates met with them, and it's something that I want everybody to take a listen to. Initially, I wanted to just talk about it, but it's best you listen to him, and then when we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. Take a listen.
Where do the doctors come in? The doctors come in the fact that when they capture the food security, which they actually have done now, because most of the seed growers have been killed. Just to give you an example, between 2015 and 2018, 37,500 victims were killed by Boko Haram. Okay. These were farmers. Then of these 37,500, 32,000, that's 85% were Muslims. 5,500 were Christians. And in states like Zamfara, 60% of the victims were Hausa, 40% were Fulani. So it became clear that this has nothing to do with Islamic terrorism. It has to do with elimination of all the seed growers. Now they have eliminated the seed growers. Now they're moving into the second phase of their program. Now, when the farmers go to them, now we now depend exclusively on the GMOs.
So we may not depend on GMOs right now.
Exactly, because without the GMOs, you cannot really get seeds, unless we are getting seeds from different African countries and some places. Some places in the south, especially southwest, and some parts of southeast, we can still get our own seeds because the Boko Haram have not really infiltrated them. But they are trying to do that. So what is happening now is that they want to move into the next phase. The next phase is whereby they will have total monopoly of the seeds, and then they will tell the farmers, you want us to give you seed, okay, we can give you seed, but on the premise that you must tell your wife and daughters to go and donate their ovarian eggs.
That's a conditional gift.
Conditional gift. Food. That is, if you want food, you have to donate ovarian eggs, the eggs of women. And why do they have to do that? They have to do that because the Western countries need these ovarian eggs for cloning. Nigeria is the only country in the world and in the history of the world which has legalized collection of organs without consent. So your organ, which you own, which is your person, if you go to the hospital, they can collect that organ without your consent, because it states in section, the National Health Act of 2014 and 2015, actually signed in 2015, states that you can actually collect that organ without consent. In section 48 and 51 of the National Health Act 2014 version of it, actually states that you can collect that organ without consent. You can collect organ and you can collect the gametes, that is the eggs of women, without consent of the patient.
That's very dangerous.
That's very dangerous, but it was allowed into law. I personally led the doctors' delegation in the National Assembly hearing, at the Senate hearing, and pointed this out before Ike Peremado, before Governor, the main proponent of the law, who was Ifeanyi Okowa, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa then. And then, of course, Ngige was also, Senator Ngige then, was also present at that public hearing. I pointed this out, that you cannot do this under any law. But they overruled the public hearing, and Senator Peremado, who was the person who was conducting the public hearing, did not heed to all the calls by all the people present. And what happened? They passed the law with this defect. So all the people who are waiting to harvest organs, harvest eggs, are all in Nigeria. They are setting up their different NGOs. Can you explain why there is a multiplicity of NGOs in the Northeast, where there is a conflict going on?
Yeah, okay. Doc, I'll come back to this. But what I want to ask now, why is the gate focused on Nigerian doctors?
Yes.
Can you address that?
He's focused on Nigerian doctors because he now wants to harvest these eggs. And doctors are the people going to harvest these eggs. These are going to be in hospitals. But Nigerian doctors, he knows, because of our high moral standard, and I must say very high moral standard, our doctors will not do that. Because our doctors know that if we keep on harvesting those eggs in those women 2 to 3 years later, they will die. Okay. They will die of liver failure, kidney failure, infections, some other complications. So we know that that's going to happen. So we're not going to do that. And when he called us, and I must say, I was physically present when Bill Gates called us through the General Electric, who he awarded the contract to build 260 hospitals in Nigeria. So that it will be at these hospitals that will be harvesting these organs and harvesting these eggs. So he will now take us out of the health sector. He invited the leaders in the private health sector and said, okay, look, I'm ready to offer you money to leave the healthcare sector. We told him before the executives of GE that he is mad and insane to demand such a thing.
To leave medical practice.
Then we should leave medical practice. And then he will pay us, no matter the amount of dollars we ask for. So we said, you are mad. We are not going to do that, and to hell with you.
Is that really?
We told him off before the executives of, I was personally present. The lab people, the president and secretaries of the lab, National Organization of the Lab Laboratory Scientists was there. The president and secretary of the community pharmacists was there. And we told him to his face, to his presence, because they were talking on, it was a telecom conference, and then the executives of General Electric were there at the headquarters in Abuja. So we told him off that you cannot do that, even with all your money and all your thing, it's not going to be possible. Now, since we rejected that offer, he has moved to his second option. Okay, eliminate, kill all these doctors, and then take over the health sector. And he told us they have already taken up the whole government hospitals. They bought the federal medical centers, they bought the university teaching hospitals. So what is remaining now is for us to get out of business so he can carry out. So these hospitals will become places where foreigners can get organs. It will become places where he will harvest the ovarian eggs, and it will become a killing house for ordinary Nigerians. This is why this is dangerous, and this is why this country must, not just to stop it, not just to ban GMOs, we must call for an international inquiry in in which Bill Gates will be brought before the courts.
Echo FM 100.7, the fresh news people.
All right, that was Dr. Phillips Njemanze. He has been a Nigerian doctor and the chairman of the Global Pro-Life Alliance. Dr. Njemanze has been at loggerheads with Bill Gates and, of course, Melinda Gates, Bill Gates' wife foundation. And, of course, after this claim he made, there were, fact check here and there by experts and Reuters and the rest of them, and they found that it was a false allegation. But what he's saying, what if there is truth in it? They say there is no evidence to substantiate this. And he has mentioned names like former Senate President, mentioned names like Ngige, some names in the National Assembly. Did that hearing take place? Okay, why didn't they reject the issue of organ harvesting and all that? Unfortunately, Ekwemadu is in jail today because of organ harvesting in the UK. These are all issues. So when you begin to look at most of these things happening in Nigerian society, you begin to wonder, are these things true? What is saying? How true is it? Well, it has been labeled as conspiracy theories, and nobody in government has come out to say any of this. And Dr. Njemanze alleges that the Bill Gates is funding an international organ trafficking cartel. He claims that provisions in the National Health Act of 2014, which he believes were influenced by Gates and others, were designed to legalize harvesting of human organs and poaching of ovarian tubes from Nigerian women without their consent. Now, this is a very serious allegation. What exactly is Nigerian government doing to this kind of allegation? Now, when you go back to the National Health Act of 2014, I would like you to go and read for yourself. I don't want to say too much. Like I said today, this is a very serious matter, but I needed to bring this thing up again to everybody. Go and check the National Health Act of 2014 and find out for yourself. I don't want to say anything concerning this, but you need to read as well. Find out for yourself. The National Act of 2014, which I believe we are influenced by Bill Gates to legalize harvesting of human organs and poaching of ovarian tubes from Nigerian women without their consent. By the way, ovarian tubes it's what generates babies. Understand? So without that, women cannot give birth. So when they remove it from you, bye-bye, first you cannot give birth. There has been allegations, conspiracy theory of Bill Gates trying to do the New World Order where few persons will live. There's a time they say he wanted to put chips in people's head and they determine how many years you live. I mean, so many different things. But the one that really bothers me is the issue of GMO. Are you aware that the maize seeds we eat, most of them are GMO? Cucumber and the rest of them, they're all GMO and the rest of them. What happened to the original seed Nigerians use? You know, you can't eat, you fry egg these days. You can't get that aroma that egg used to produce. You know, before, if you fry one egg, in the whole of the street, you know somebody is frying egg. So what happened to the eggs we eat? GMO. And this is not healthy for anybody. I wish I can call Mary the Slim Diva because this is her area of specialty. It's not my area, but definitely I'm just looking at these things. They're terrible. And one man's name keep being mentioned in all of these, and nothing the government is doing to either call him to order or there's too many allegations. Okay, just leave. No, we don't want this again. Take it away. But we now have GMO centers, bio centers, where these things are now regulated by government. GMO, other countries are running away from. We are legalizing it in Nigeria, and now GMO has taken away. This GMO is one of the chief causative things about cancers and all manner of health diseases that we find out today. What happened to the maize seed? You remember the Igbo corn? Those, how sweet they were. The corn nowadays, the test, they'll be like chaff. is big. It brings new yield for the farmers, yes. But how nutritious are they? Tomato. One seed of tomato before, you put on food, you go get the test. Just one ripe tomato, where the fresh. If you put one or two, you go see how the color will come out. The taste will be beautiful. But right now, what we eat is nothing to write home about. And the name that keeps coming up is Bill Gates. Bill Gates, Bill Gates. What did this man define for Nigeria? It is also on record that things like this were also done in India. Before a black man, they were using the blacks in India and the rest of them as the test subjects until a black man became a prime minister, and they stopped it. That's the story I had on that. So when is our government going to take this accusation seriously, even if it's a conspiracy theory? Why don't you act on it? At least make sure it does not happen if it hasn't happened already. Well, according to Fact Check, lack of evidence, fact-checking site Dubawa investigated these viral claims, which often circulate on WhatsApp and social media, and found no evidence to support allegations of a military invasion or illegal organ poaching orchestrated by Gates. But the truth is, the insecurity, where is it coming from? Who is funding them? And why are farmers the targets? Now we now target farmer header clashes. Farmers are disappearing. People who were producing the food are disappearing. Now, I find out that they bring 100 trucks of food to give northern Nigeria that was feeding the entire sub-Saharan African countries. Isn't it funny? We blame insecurity on it. But even the seedlings to plant are not there. So you have to buy seed from these GMO companies for you to plant. In order for you to get seed, according to what Dr. Phillips was saying, which allegedly, of course, said you have to give your ovaries for you to get seed to plant. Can you imagine that scenario? It's a terrible thing to say, and it's conspiracy theory. And the Dubawa, I wonder who this Dubawa is. Let's see. I'm going to check what Dubawa is, if it is Nigeria. Several claims of Bill Gates, alleged invasion and all that. Dubawa, how is it a Nigerian or a foreign company that will fact-checked in Nigeria? So the real-world context, while there have been high-profile organ trafficking cases involving Nigerians, such as the conviction of a former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu in UK, there is no documented link between these criminal acts and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Ovarian egg industry. There is a documented, largely unregulated commercial market for human egg donation in Nigeria. How is that happening in our country? Driven by economic hardship, women will go sell their ovarian eggs. From selling babies, now you're not selling the tubes that should produce babies. This is how terrible our country has become. They now have local fertility clinics, and these white women who cannot give birth or they need surrogate mothers, and the rest of them will go there, buy the ovaries, and then put it in another woman, and the woman delivers. I mean, this is exactly what happens. To fertilize the egg, I don't want to lose my shape. Very soon, some of our Gen Z generation women will decide, I don't want to lose my shape. Even to breastfeed picking will become problem very, very soon. And this is it's a terrible, terrible situation. Anyway, well, that's what I wanted to bring for you this morning on that matter. You can have your say right about now. What do you think about this? They said it's conspiracy theory. They said no evidence to back that. But this Dr. Phillips in Jamanze has been on and on and on. He said he was there. They called them. They met with Bill Gates, who promised them $2 billion for them to harvest. So should we throw that under the cupboard and lock it as this man is just lying? What is he going to gain by lying against Bill Gates? Or is just a doctor fighting for their own medical business, who somebody else is coming to poach and all that? So many interpretations, but what is your own interpretation to these? Let's get your take on it. 0911 20,000 22 or
0707-454-1014.
Let's take some calls. Good morning. Who there, my line?
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Welcome aboard.
Good morning, Chief Cosmos.
I greet you.
Lady Dawn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Abari calling from America.
Okay, welcome, Abari.
Chief Cosmos, I really want to seek your permission to talk on this seeming weakness of P2B. I hope I'm permitted to do that.
No. We are not on that matter today. We've flogged that issue. We have something very important to discuss, and that's what we are discussing. All right.
Okay. Let me shift my emphasis now to the DMO issue.
Okay.
My concern here is if an indigenous, a citizen of a country, you notice something going on seemingly uncomfortable and brings it out, the reaction of the government and Nigerians is what really bothers me. Do we have to depend on foreign investigations before we make our sessions and come to a conclusion? Don't we equally have the government? Don't we equally have investigators and scientists that will go to lab and put these tests and run them out and see for ourselves if it is right? What has been the response of the government? From all what you have read and said, I think the government has been complacent. There is no response to that, and government should be the body that should spearhead such a thing. If the Nigerian has made such an assertion, it goes on the government to follow up. Also, when the person is alive and saying that he was alive and he's still saying it, have they called Jaman, Dr. Philip in Jaman to find out and to follow up? They just swept everything on the carpet, and we are just going ahead and ahead. Look at the mind-boggling revelations he's making. That the former deputy Senate president, who is now in London, under incarceration on a similar charge, was there. And his name is David Mark now, ABC, whatever, he's still alive. I won't say the government is doing us a favor or a disfavor. But Chief Cosmos and Lady Dawn, that is where I feel very uncomfortable. Okay. This is a problem with our country leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please turn down the volume on your radio. Turn it down.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I greet you.
Sorry, morning.
Welcome.
I'm Mike, someone business. I'm calling from Ebu.
Okay.
Yeah, you said we have waived the P2B case. You're not talking about it?
No. We've been discussing this matter. We're doing something completely different today. Let's leave that matter.
Okay, and concerning the issue of ovarian cell harvesting, it's really very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And quite good enough that somebody has spoken out, a doctor, a Nigerian doctor, like that. What I can say there is that it will only take a serious government to investigate this and to get to the root of it and know how all these things are happening. Any government that is so serious that values the life of the people will do something about it and investigate it. Because the gate is not too big to be brought to book or face charges like he has offended. But he's dealing with the life. Since ovariances now have become, it has become granite and cassava. People would just be harvesting like that. You know, taking them to their to the distance and process it and use them for further production of whatever they want to do. So it's a crime against humanity. It's so serious. It's so unfortunate that we are being used like this. So a federal government will only go ahead and investigate these allegations. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very, very much, my brother. Hello?
Hello?
Are you serious? Hello? All right, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Abada.
Okay, Abada, you're welcome.
Thank you. I greet everybody on the studio.
Yes, so you're welcome.
I'm calling from Owerri.
Okay.
Please, I saw this Dr. Phillips video around 2015, and I was elected. I have known Dr. Phillips Njemanze for quite a long time. He's not a man that talks anyhow. He mentioned 3 names that are still alive. Ike Kweremado, Okowa, Ngige. And if I should take you back memory lane, 3 days after Tinubu was sworn in, the first person that visited him was the Bill Gates and Dangote, if you will remember. He visited him in the Asoro, the first visitor that Tinubu received after he was sworn in. So these are not conspiracy theories. They are not lies. It is real. And seeing how these people have betrayed their people and how they have sold their organs, not ours, how people are being harvested without no trace, no consequences, nothing, will tell that whatever Dr. Njemanze said is true. Please, let's try and make this thing very... Let's be cautious and let the government take action. But I don't think they will, because Bill Gates has bought them over. About the GMO seed, it is here with us. There's nothing we can do about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Lady Ecoman.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm senior citizen in Mazo Zoma.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mazo Zoma, why you sounding different?
Yeah.
Barry, because when I come with my normal voice, I don't get through. Yesterday, I struggled. When I get through it, no.
Sorry.
And I said, well, no, it's not your fault, Barry. It's the popularity of the program. The reasonableness of what you are doing. So, no, don't regret anything at all. If I get you once in 2 months, that would be okay. But Barry, you are talking of something that belongs to institutions.
Yeah.
And you are talking in particular about health.
Yeah.
But the budget for health under the current year or the previous year was over 200 billion naira. A year after, less than 40 billion was actually released. You are talking of health. But the difference between 218 or 280 billion and less than 40 billion. Does it show any priority, any concern about our health? It's not about Bill Gates. It's about those who manage us, those who are in a position to control what happens to us. I won't blame Bill Gates. Anybody who comes somewhere to make profit. It's for those who are there to ensure that you make profit within the laws. What are the laws that we all should be protected? In what way can you say the government is protecting us? Good morning, Barry. I'm senior citizen.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's a new dawn. It's a new voice now. I'll try this one again and again and see how I get to you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, senior citizen. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Barry and Dawn. Good morning, therefore, Echo family.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Dr. Gucho Paracolin.
Okay.
It's a gentleman and lady in the studio. This topic is very, very worrisome. I totally agree with the second last, the lady that called. Because this information you replace, that time she quoted about 2015 was totally right. You see, we look at it as conspiracy theory, whether it is true or not. That is the problem in this country. Since then, what have the government done? Look at the statistics he gave. Is there no farmer headers clash? Why are they killing the farmers? That is number one question. Is that not what is happening in Nigeria? He named 2 or 3 prominent names. Ngige is a medical doctor. As Ngige spoken all this while, Good Ekweremano is suffering it down in Britain. and other people. Bill Gates' business with the Nigerian government is something that should be investigated. What the man, Dr. Philip Njemande, said is totally right. At least I know this man one-to-one. He's not somebody that can come out and say anything at his level of exposure. What he's saying is basically based on what he told you, that he was there. He didn't put any person. He experienced it, that they had such meeting, and they told the gate, face to face, that he cannot do this. And up to now, what is the government doing? That is where the issue of politics comes in. Politics is the problem of everything and is the solution of everything. If we have good, responsible individuals that are heading our politics, most of all these things will not come up. You cited example with India. It was going on until one certain man, a black man, came and stopped it. And we are praying, let that such candidate come up to head our politics. If we can stop all these deadly businesses they are doing. I am worried. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. You are listening to Echo FM 100.7. This is Straight Talk. Today we are dealing with a very serious health matter that has to do with coercion and removal of ovarian tubes by some medical professionals that has been tied to Bill Gates Foundation, and they say they are lobbying and all that. The issue with it is that Bill Gates has been lobbying for a lot of things in Nigeria in the guise of helping solve the crisis. But while solving crisis, you're creating more problems. And this is where it gets messy. Well, if you like, please go and read and take care of this Health Act, National Health Act of 2014. There are a whole lot of things you benefit from there. Let's take more calls. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Yeah. Well, apparently, ready to talk. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is how are you this morning?
Oh, fine. Good morning. You're welcome.
The Buruburu himself.
I greet you.
How are you this morning?
I did, Kankwe.
Thank you. I'm Prince.
Okay. You're welcome, Prince.
Thank you. My brother and sister, I have listened to a lot of people that have spoken well. And then I must tell you the truth. I believe everything that Dr. Jamas has said. I believe it to all entirety. Because I started thinking within myself. And I went back to research in some certain rumors that came up those days in Nigeria. And I can now conclude that in every rumor in Nigeria, there is atom of truth. A lot of people might say it as a rumor now, but the man would say it with every assurance, calling names, living people, living names. Then, I remember in 2023, when it was rumored that Mahmoud was about to rig a 2023 election, and they came out and say they debunked it, that it was a lie, but at the end of everything, there was an atom of truth in it. They told us that there was no killing in South Africa, that it is rumor. A few days ago, today, you can agree with me that they are making case of 2 people killed. Last time, they told us that there was nothing like coup in this very government, but today they are still making case about coup thinkers. I can go on and remember them. So in every rumor in Nigeria, that is atom of truth. And if you see how this very man called Bill Gates is very interested in Nigeria, you ask yourself, what is exactly his interest? So, and then, hello.
I can hear you.
So, yeah, and you can also ask yourself, why they killing in northern region? Why killing farmers innocently, for no just cause? I can't understand. What is their interest? My brother and sister, all these rumors that we are saying, remember that we have people, the politicians, that are ready to sell their people, as long as money is concerned, they are ready to do anything in order to grab power and in order to have money. So we are really doomed in this country, my brother and sister. It's very unfortunate. That is why we are all yearning for free and fair election, so that we will select the people that can have empathy to their people and also have human heart, and regardless of their party affiliation or their tribal or whatever.
All right, sorry. I was just taking a look at something very disturbing from South Africa. These guys are beginning to be, they're taking the world into something else. I don't understand. But anyway, I just saw a very, very disturbing video now, all the way from these xenophobic attacks in South Africa, and it's so, so worrisome. Anyway, please, if you have a relative in South Africa, please do check on them, because what is happening in South Africa is getting out of hand. Imagine stripping women naked, beating them to stupor, and then spreading their nakedness and videoing and sharing it on social media. This is the worst of inhumanity to man. Africans doing this to Africans. For what? Because they came to your country to hustle. Or something you cannot do. This is getting out of hand. And Nigerian government should stop talking about diplomacy and take action. There are South Africans living in this country. What about if they start being treated like that? What would happen? This is getting out of hand. And then you come out and have the audacity to lie to Nigerians, and then you now say 2 persons. All these ones, we are getting tired of seeing these ugly incidents. We cannot suffer Boko Haram. People escape Boko Haram, and they go out there, they start suffering another worse humiliation than Boko Haram. Is this not madness? It's getting out of hand. But I just needed to say that because my heart is so, so heavy and bleeding with this kind of video I just watched now. It's terrible. Very, very terrible, terrible. All right, let's just take some few messages before we call it a wrap. Starting from all the messages they sent since we started this program. This one says, good morning, Ekefa. My name is Sparrow from Ngokpala. My dad is the Azo of my community. Okay, that's reacting to the land matter. That's not what we are going to begin to do. Dr. Prince Joel is no longer here. You